The news has finally broken as tonight we have reached a deal with Atletico Madrid to sign Samu Omorodion. Today, my friends, I'm here to go through all the latest club news as well as giving my full thoughts, opinions and perspectives on the signing of Omorodion. How will he perform under Maresca? Why have we gone for him? And is he the right type of striker we should be signing this window? So I hope you guys enjoy the video, share your thoughts and opinions, and most importantly, hit that like button, man. So let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into things. We start with the quick news involving Gallagher, because as we know right now, he is currently in a private jet getting ready to finalize his medical at Atletico Madrid. He is set to take his medical this Thursday, and he is set to complete a €42 million move, which is around £36 million, to sign for Atleti on a 5-year deal with a contract up to the tune of $200,000 a week. Now that's big money. Atleti are committing to signing him, but he was one of their big midfield purchases this season, and it says quite a lot that Simeone desperately wants him in his midfield for next season. So personally, I'm looking forward to seeing how Connor develops playing under Simeone at Atleti. I think it should be a great move for him, and as we know, with Connor now signing for Atletico Madrid, this now means that Omorodion can come our way, and the merry-go-round is essentially completed. So I'll have more thoughts and opinions on Gallagher when he is officially announced by Atleti. But as we know right now, Connor won't be our player anymore after greenlighting the move this Monday, and we get ready to say our farewells. So that's the Gallagher news out the way, which means that I can spend some time discussing everything surrounding Samu Omorodion, because the news has broken from Romano, Ornstein and other publications in the UK. We have finally reached an agreement with Atleti to sign him up to the tune of $34.5 million. This will be a straight fixed fee, and Omorodion is set to sign a 7-year deal with the option to extend by a further year included. In the meantime, we're waiting for him to now arrive in London so he can take his medical. Fingers crossed he signs for us in time to maybe have an appearance off the bench against Inter Milan in our final pre-season friendly. I think we definitely need more addition currently up front in this team. Let's see what happens. Romano revealed though that Leverkusen showed some late interest to enter the race to try and sign him, but I guess the good news for us was that we've already invested so much time speaking to the player, speaking to Atleti, and looking to strike a deal over the summer that, unless it was an incredible proposal from Leverkusen, I think there was no way we were set to miss out on this move. But everything now makes sense. Atletico Madrid are one of the biggest winners in the transfer market this summer. As we know, they've now agreed a deal to sign Julian Alvarez for €95 million. Incredible money. And we know that that deal was key behind allowing them to sell Omorodion to us, which then meant that Gallagher could be signed by Atleti for a similar fee. We're receiving 36 mil in pure profit for Gallagher, and we're set to buy Omorodion for 34.5 million as a fixed fee. Now, I guess we're the real winners when it comes to the finances, right? Because we record a 36 million pure profit. And in that sense, Omorodion will only cost us 1 year at the moment, and that is his transfer value divided by the length of contract plus his wages for the year. Now, his wages are undisclosed. If I made a lazy assumption, could it be like 80,000 a week, 100,000 a week? Maybe it wouldn't surprise me. And that would mean that his player cost would be around like maybe 8 to 10 million, which is not too bad for us. And we have the time to then assess whether he can match this elite potential that the ownership, the directors feel this kid has, and be worth that value and money in the future. So this is the benefits you get financially when you're letting players go from your academy as pure profit, because it allows you to spend even more on players in the market because you're only paying for their player cost for that 1 year at a time. So that's the news out the way. Let's have a real conversation around why we are making this move to begin with. Is this the right move? How do you guys feel about this? Is this the right move we're making? Because on one hand, a lot of people felt like Nini. Right now, I'd be more comfortable if we had more experience, ready-made experience in this team alongside some of the talents for the future that we're already stacked with right now. I would have felt more comfortable and confident knowing that we can get European football. We can challenge potentially for the Premier League because we now have that experienced striker that knows how to get the goals in the big moments. So I can understand that perspective. Whereas on the other hand, you could argue there's a more realistic perspective that we don't really have those funds or that type of money. So it means that we have to be more shrewder with the type of business we're doing. And I think the club are understanding that Omorodion is probably one of those rare purchases that you'll very rarely be able to buy him at this price you're buying him for. And it seems that Atleti have only agreed to allowing him to go because there was an incredible opportunity in signing Julian Alvarez, who gives them a better chance at challenging for the league. So listen, if Alvarez was not on the market, I think Omorodion happily stays there, and that's why Atleti were quoting fees of around £70 million to put off clubs from trying to sign him. So now that we understand some of the perspective from the fan base, I think there's some other stuff we have to realize. This guy has literally just turned 20 years old. He's a very young striker who's had a stupid, explosive rise in his career. He only just broke into that Granada team. He scored against Atleti. They bought him immediately, loaned him out to Alves, and now, before even playing a game for them, he is now making another step up in his career by signing for us. And I think when you're a 19-year-old and you've got 9 league goals for a team like Alves who are mid-table, I think that shows a lot of potential. That shows a lot of talent, because when you break down his game, this guy, I can understand why the club feel he has elite level potential in the making. Again, he joins the list of popular striker for big clubs, the physical freak striker. When silly reports came out suggesting that an Osimhen wouldn't be signing for us because he doesn't suit Maresca's ideas, I thought, what nonsense, because every striker we've been linked with has been in that profile. Osimhen, Sechko, plus a ton more. We were able to sign a player in that family of striker for next to nothing, and Omorodion is blessed physically. I mean, he's 6'4". He's officially one of the fastest players in La Liga, one of the fastest by a mile. He's showing that he is physically ready. He is aerially ready. And most importantly, he is mentally ready. The reason why Simeone told Atleti to sign Omorodion was that when he played against Atletico Madrid, he scored in that game, and he was an incredible handful for any of his defenders to control in that game. He had another massive game against Araujo, against Barcelona, where he also scored in that game, and it was also too much for Araujo to handle. This is a kid who is 19 years old, who is making some experience, physically dominant teams look a little bit silly. That gives you an idea on the potential a player like this has, where physically, he's already mastered that part of the game. Right now, the benefit comes from the fact that he can only grow mentally and he can only grow technically. The club will feel pretty confident that Omorodion is going to be ready to handle the physical tests in the league. And going back to why so many clubs are after this physical freak striker, listen, defenders aren't as physically imposing or as nasty as what they used to be back in the day. And clubs feel like if you have this type of striker that can basically control all the half chance moments, all the second ball moments, every moment where the ball bounces in like crazy areas, they have the strength, physicality, height, speed, whatever, to just take advantage of those little moments at a hand. I think one of the reasons why Haaland, for example, scores so many goals for Man City, I might sound cynical, but it's the fact that he is bigger than nearly every defender in the country, hence why they can't really stop him when he's challenging for these balls across goal, or balls in the air, or whatever type of service that he can get inside the box. But I know it's very easy to focus on his physical aspects, but technically on the ball, he is no dud. Now, when you're that big, it's very rare players that tall, that big are as graceful as like the 5'7", 5'8" players that we typically see. But the ball doesn't bounce off him. It can look like that at times, but you have to realize when you're literally holding off a defender that's coming in from behind, it's a greater challenge to play that ball in like the perfect aesthetic sense, right? We have to have some grace when it comes to understanding that part of the game, but he's already shown that he can hold off challenges from behind. He can do his one-touch link-ups. He's a Spanish striker, for God's sake. Gu was also not criticised, but he was also seen as a striker at Barcelona. He wasn't technically proficient, but we've seen already that, wow, this guy is nowhere near as bad on the ball as you think, because he's a Spanish forward, and Omorodion is in that same caliber and class. He is someone that can carry the ball in the channels. He is quite strong with his dribbling ability and his directness. His pass completion rate isn't bad for a guy that's just turned 20 years old. I think it's around 72%, which is quite strong. A lot of forwards are getting around high 60s or mid 60s at that same age. But I think another aspect of his game that should be respected is his mental strength and qualities. Not only can he carry himself on the field, but this is someone that understands how to move defenses. He knows how to unsettle defenses. It's not just having a lot of speed, it's knowing how to use that speed. It's knowing how to time your runs. It's knowing what areas he must run into. It's knowing how to be in the best advantageous areas inside the box to be that focal point for your team. I think in a way, being at Alves last season was the perfect introduction to top flight football for him, to have that responsibility behind his neck, to be that focal point platform for his team. And it's something that he accepted very gracefully and showed a lot of promise and a lot of excitement by playing that way too. All his goals he scored has come from showing that intelligence of how to time his runs. You know, he likes to go to the near post. He likes to time his runs in the far post, and he has that threat in the 6-yard box. And what I like is that you always see him pointing towards where he wants the ball. That is another great quality of a striker that has that mental temperament to be playing at the highest level. He tells his teammates, put the ball in this area, I will get there. And when he gets there, most times it ends up a shot on goal or a goal. I think right now having Omorodion and Nico Jackson as our two strikers would be pretty interesting, and Nico very good at dropping and linking the play. Omorodion isn't that type of striker just yet, but by the time he's Nico's age, which is still like another 3 years away, which is mad, he can easily be that type of player. We have to allow these guys to grow season by season, but what I'm going to simply say is, now you have both these strikers. You can't be signing a Simhen. Even though the deal, the business, the money makes a lot of sense, I just think, you know what? You must commit to the development pathways that you're selling everyone right now. Otherwise, what is the point of this strategy when you're not fully embracing it? But to end things very quickly, my friends, listen, I think Omorodion is true business. I think this kid is talented. I'm not going to say he isn't. It's not the first time I've spoken about him. But equally, on the other hand, does this team not need maybe a bit more experience to balance out the potential that we already have in this team? Because realistically, Omorodion isn't going to score 20 goals plus in his first season. He's going to need at least 1 year to settle in this country, to settle with his new teammates, a new league, a new environment. Everything's happening very fast for this very young guy, and we can't have unrealistic expectations around what he's set to do for us for next season. If anything, I think Nico and Nkunku will take most of the responsibility, and I think Omorodion's first season will be the educational foundation year that he needs. And I guess maybe that's the argument where some of the fan base right now is thinking, do we need another guy who needs another foundation year when this is the season we need to bag Champions League football without fail? So I'll leave that question for you guys to answer in the comment section below. How do you feel about this news? Are you excited? Are you not? Let us know. And on that note, I am Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. See you all soon. Cool.